Hi, thank you for tuning in. This is Lydia Aguayo with Sunrise Realty. You could find us on the web at www.downeyhomes.org. And I'm here with my friends Angie Martinez and John Sloss. And we're here to talk about title insurance, which is something we never think about until we're in an escrow transaction. And then it becomes very important for the buyer and the seller. And John, can you basically tell our buyers and sellers of real estate basically what real estate title insurance is?
Well, title insurance is basically protects the homeowner from any related incorrect searches. Basically, what a title company is going to do when a new buyer is going to buy the property, they're going to make sure the homeowner that's selling that property is indeed the correct owner. They're going to check the chain of title, make sure all the deeds that were recorded were indeed the right owners, and everything was done legally and right, so there was no fraud in the the chain of title. So basically, they're going to make sure that is the correct person that's selling them that property. Yeah. Also, title insurance is going to check all for the liens and judgments that are on the property, such as there could be medical judgments or child support liens. They're going to want to make sure those are all paid off. Make sure all the property taxes are paid off, and most importantly, all the deeds of trust that were on the property that were addressed. The reason why you need it is once you buy that property and the deal records, and say after the fact that you own this property, no one can come to you, another previous owner with the deed, and say that's my property. You have title insurance, and that's where that's going to protect you. They're going to make sure that the person that sold you the property was correct, and then they'll make sure also that liens that were previous to you, if anyone ever comes back and says that there's liens on this property, the title company will have to address them and not you.
Yeah, and that's very important with government type of liens, like taxes and things that a new owner may get stuck with if he didn't have those things researched during the escrow process.
Definitely. Yeah. So the main thing is you want free and clear title.
Absolutely.
Once that escrow is closed.
Yeah. And Angie, can you kind of give the buyers and the sellers a little bit of insight as to the title insurance process? How
Sure. Well, when our transaction is ready to go, the escrow officer will contact the title company, and we will open what we call a preliminary title report. It usually takes about 2 to 3 working days. It'll have on there what John had mentioned, any judgments or liens. At that same point, the escrow officer will work with the seller to get what we call a statement of information, or SI as we call it. And what that is their full name, any nicknames, their social security number, and where they've lived and worked for the past 10 years. So that SI will help to clear any possible liens or judgments that may be on the preliminary report, or it could add to it. At that point, the escrow officer will be working closely with the title company to clear all of these liens so we pass a clean title to the brand new buyer. Once our transaction is ready to close, then the lender will fund the file, and the escrow officer will contact title to set it up to record at the Norwalk County records. And at that point, once we get that recorded, the grant deed will be recorded and the deed of trust will be recorded. And after we are finally closed, then the buyer has a new policy and they get the keys, and we are completely closed on that transaction.
And that statement of information is very important because there's so many people with similar names, similar social security numbers, similar addresses, and so we want to make sure that maybe a buyer or seller didn't get misunderstood or misidentified with somebody else, and all that is clear.
Exactly.
Yeah, so when the buyer has the title to his property and the seller sold it, everybody could rest clear and confident that everything was done legally and properly. Yeah. And John, you have a website. Can you just briefly refer them to your website in case they want any additional information?
Yes, if you go to johnsloss.com, that's John, S as in Sam, LOSS.com. It's a great website with a wealth of information. There's a quick 2-minute video that basically tells you what title insurance is. Also check out Fast Facts. There's 56 different topics and consumer information. You'll find a wealth of information on there to help you out through your process.
Very good. And if you need, like he said, any additional information, you can contact us 24/7. Thank you so much for your visit, and we'll see you next time.